Welcome to the next round of Most Man. Get us at, obviously, YouTube. Please like, subscribe, share, ring the bell, leave us some comments. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartMedia, soon to be Rumble. And you can get to us at themostmen.com. And the email is info@themostmen.com. The website is themostmen.com. So bang.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
The most man is the way.
But yeah, so back to it again, just real quick on the like, subscribe, share. We need subscriptions, even if you don't. I mean, of course, we want everybody to watch. That's not the point of what I'm saying. But we're trying to get to that. We just need that little hump to get to 50, to where we can start doing this live, to where we can bring you all in, either via phone call, FaceTime, Zoom, and we can put you up on the TV, and we can have a live interaction with anybody, anywhere, anytime. So I think it'll make it a whole lot more fun. Join the men's club.com, because this is the men's club here. This is where we just come to have fun. And like, this is another one where we let our hair down, just have a few beers, and we'll have a few specific topics. We got to keep sprinkling in what this company is about. So we can start growing. This is just one platform that we're going to use this content on to grow the company. So the podcast is the men's club. This is where we come to just have fun, talk about cool shit, fun stuff, relevant stuff. But the whole idea of the back end of the business, or not the back end of the business, but the heart and soul of the company is that it's about building better men. The whole men's club, and getting your man kit, and getting your man card, get your balls back, get your 12-step recovery program, getting your, all your little swag that makes it fun, which we are in the middle again. We're in the middle right now of getting all of that made to develop the man kits. I've already got all the man cards, but I wanted to make sure that I got some really good quality stuff that people are going to actually want, and it'll be cheap. It's not a money grab. We're not trying to get it into everybody's pockets. It's all meant to be fun. I'll make money down the road. Now I do want to make money, but this is not a money grab. The podcast is not a money grab. This is the place where we come just to have fun. Cheers with the boys, war stories, funny stories.
Well, there's one thing you always say, and it cracks me up, when you're going through your spiel, and it's, get your balls back. But we might be helping people keep their balls, maybe.
Well, that's what the 12-step recovery program is.
Well, maybe you ain't got to recover. Maybe you're teetering, going to go over the edge the wrong way. We can keep you from losing your balls. That way you ain't got to get them back.
You just get them, even if you hadn't lost them yet. You got them. So you got your man card. That's it. Look, baby, I'm a man. I'm retaining my nuts. They are not going in your vise, nor are they going in your purse. They're staying connected to my body.
I was shooting pool out in East Texas, and it was free pool, but you had to, put, people were putting business cards down or whatever, to keep the line going, who was up next. Normally you put quarters up, right, and then you put them in, and whose quarters are whose. But so I put my man card down on there, and everybody kind of gave it my kid just rolled his eyes. He's like, I can't believe you whipped that thing out. But
I've whipped mine out.
People took notice of it. It was properly ridiculous.
Yeah, no, so it's meant to be fun. We're not out here to, to take a shot at women, and the women get it too once they understand what it's about. And again, I don't want to, on the podcast anyway, because we're always going to have a few topics or a few we're always going to have most man moments, because we all are most man every now and then. We've all got our moments. None of us are perfect, but it's about let's reduce those most man moments.
It's like paper, rock, scissors. anyone can beat anyone at any time, so you got to use the right.
Yeah.
It's just how it all blends together in your life.
Yeah, but it's okay. So I'll explain what a most man is, so we can hammer out this before we start diving off into rabbit holes. A most man, you can tell by the way he walks in Lowe's, Home Depot, the store, to his mailbox, it's basically being whipped. You've given up on. Your girl's got control of you. You don't have any control over. You're just the walking ATM, okay? Or you're the planned on. You're the future walking ATM, or you are that, and you've just given up and accepted that that's your life from here on out. Well, there's a lot of women out there that plan that. They do. They know how to get married. They know how to. They know. I had this conversation. I'll get into that here in a second, but they know how to get married, and they know what they're doing when they're meeting you. So you just need to know, young men out there, all the guys that are in it now, and we'll help get you out. We'll help get you out, but for the young bucks out there that they don't know what shitstorms coming down the road. You've got some major changes going to happen after you. As soon as you say I do, a couple months later, we're married now.
You're playing chess, you're playing checkers, and
they're playing chess. This they are, and
3-level chess,
and they're smart. Girls. That's what I'm saying. Women, y'all are smart. Y'all know how to do it. I'm not. I tip my hat to you. Y'all know how to do it. But men, at that age, we think with the boy downstairs and the boys are making the decisions down there, not this boy up here. This is the boy that needs to be making the decision, but this boy makes all the decisions, and a lot of times this little boy down here gets you in trouble. And it's all fun. I'm not saying to tear it up, man. Have fun. I did. But I did wait till a good one came along, and I saw it happening to all my buddies. So, yeah. So we just want to either prevent, stop before they get taken away. And if it's been taken away, you can get it back. Bam.
Bam.
Yeah. So, and again, we're gonna have fun. This is all about having fun. Breathe in, breathe out, as Wim Hof would say. Got into that one on the last one. Check out Wim Hof. He's a freaking maniac. Good God. But he's helping a lot of people out there. That dude's changed a lot of lives. He really has. So,
I got a shout out from last night. I went to the Elks Club for the first time in a long time. I went West Parker. We played 9 holes in that scramble. Went to the Elks Club. It was a really good time, man. I saw some people I didn't see in a while, and I don't know. Have you even heard of the Elks Club mentioned in the last 20 years?
No, I don't even know what the Elks Club is.
It's like
I know what the Elks. I mean, I kind of do, but no.
I'm 60, and I was the youngest guy in there by 10 years.
Yeah, it's just like the Legion, or what is it?
American Legion Hall.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to have a card to get. Wes had to get me in. I mean, you can't just walk in this joint. They got a door with an electronic lock on the thing, and
I got a funny story about it.
And they had good food too.
I had a friend of mine's dad that him and his buddy. The only time I've been to an American Legion. Because the dad was always like, this is when we were all getting our businesses going and all that, and we were starting to really party and drink and have fun. And their dad was cool. He was cool as shit. But he was always, come on, boys, come have a couple beers. Me and Jimmy down at the Legion, and we were like, man, that's a bunch of fucking old timers in there. We don't want to come. Nah, come down there. You'll like it. I'll buy you beer. Come on, boys. Come on down. Have a beer with me. And his name wasn't Jimmy. What was his name? It doesn't matter. But they were lifelong best friends. So they always, Dusty's dad was an engineer on the railroad. So he would be on the rail for however long they stay out. So when he'd get off, he's on his bender at the Legion. So, boys, I'll be at the Legion. Come see me at the Legion. We went down there, and Freddie was his name. Yeah, he said, they'd get to drinking and start talking shit to each other. And one time, oh, God, what was Dusty's dad's name? Oh, good Lord. It's funny as hell. But anyway, Freddie and their dad started arguing. And he said, Freddie, if you don't shut the fuck up, he said, I'm going to come over there and I'm going to slap you off that stool and put you on the ground. Freddie said, well, that's fine. That's where I do my best fighting anyway. Come on over here and do it.
I heard a line last night. He said, God, she's ugly. Yeah, something was ugly. He goes, that was ugly as the back of my balls. I've never heard that one before.
No, but it was funny. He said, I'm going to come over and put you on the ground. He said, that's fine. That's where I do my best fighting's on the ground. Come over here and do it. And we were like, God dang, man. Y'all are best friends. He said, oh, man, get to talking shit. I ain't letting him talk shit, And it was funny. They were.
Yeah, this place, these people have been going in there forever and ever and ever. And, I mean, they got some camaraderie, man. It's like their men's club, there's women in there, but, I mean, and they're all dressed up. And, I mean, when we rolled up in the parking lot, there was two couples getting out and, the gentleman holding the door for their wives. They've been married for 50 years or something. I mean, it was a cool vibe, that you just don't run across just anywhere. Kind of like the Flintstones with the Grand Poobah and the remember their club? They had the secret club with the freaking buffalo hat on.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The Grand Poobah was the
I wasn't a huge
honcho.
Flintstones fan. I was Tom and Jerry. Dennis the Menace.
Well, the Flintstones were made for adults, but it was like a cartoon, but it was really geared for adults. If you watch it as an adult,
I watched it, but I was a Tom and Jerry guy.
It was the same thing. Fred and Barney tried to get away with shit. They'd screw it up. Their wives would bust them. It was just like the Honeymooners, with Jackie Gleason.
Yeah, no, I watched the Flintstones. I know what it was all about.
They never got away with nothing.
No, but I wasn't like I wasn't going to stop what I was doing to watch them.
Their wives were 3 times smarter than they were, but they didn't know it. Sounds familiar.
Sadly to say, typically can be the case, man. Women, they've got their place here, man. They're sharp. They're sharp. I respect women. I really do.
Oh yeah, my wife runs the show at the house, man. She takes care of business and the kids and the school and all that. That was her department. She did it flawlessly.
Well,
kept me from being wadded up in it. I know that much.
Most good ones do, but man, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of them out there that don't. I got a friend of mine that, hell, he's made a lot of money in life. He made a lot of money in life, and I guarantee you,
did he get to keep it? Some of it.
Yeah. But I mean, this particular guy, he loved to spend it too. I mean, that's what I found out once I got into the men's club. You know what I mean? Of
the mentality of it.
Well, everybody that you're around is successful. They're all millionaires. They're all. And what's crazy about that is there's a lot of them that spend just it never changes. They spend it all. They spend it all. When I sold the company, that's what I'm saying. They couldn't understand why I had so much money in the account. It's because I was a saver. I wasn't a spender, and I didn't need a salary to justify my existence. I just didn't need it. I had everything I wanted. I didn't need anything else. But they all start doing the, what's your net worth, what's your portfolio look like, what's this look like, and then you start really talking to them, and you find out that they're not worth as much money as you think they are. They're not.
Yeah, they're living with the juggle. They always got balls in the air,
Where I live out here, Colleyville is full of them. You got to get into the university parks and in those areas to find generational. That's real money, is generational money. There's a lot of guys that they're doing it for status. I've got a friend of mine. Shout out Jerry Sapansky. This guy, he's the one that started the store in the mall, GADZOOKS. Remember GADZOOKS?
Yeah.
Okay, so I grew up, my teenage years were in the 90s. So that's when Guess jeans and there was just it went from 80s to the 90s, right? There was just a new style came in, and more cool t-shirts and hats and just all sorts of just skater stuff, punk stuff. So he had GADZOOKS. He started GADZOOKS. Started in Waco with one store, dead broke. He lived in the back of the store. He didn't have money to live. He put all his money into this store. And he built that thing and sold it for it was $3 or $4 billion. He was in every shopping mall in the United States.
So was it a publicly traded company?
He was
at some point.
Yeah. He was publicly traded, yeah. But I worked for, you would love his, because are you a Packer fan?
My wife is.
Okay, well, you walk in his office, and you know how when you go to the Capitol, how you look up and they've got those murals in the whatever you call that Capitol structure.
Yeah, the dome.
The dome, yeah. Well, you walk into his office and you look up, and he lives in Frisco. You won't never find his house because he's in a serious ass gated community. I mean, you better bring the military with you if you're coming to get in there. You ain't getting in that place. But he had, this is back in my chimney days. He had 13 fireplaces. He had 3 fireplaces in his office.
That's ridiculous.
Well, but you looked up into his dome. That's where he was from. He was a Wisconsin guy. You looked up in his dome, and he had Lombardi looking down on him and all the famous players that played for the Packers throughout history.
Yeah.
He had all their murals painted, in this sequence going around, and they were all, not that they were looking down on him, but they were faced in a position to where he looked anytime he needed to get, he was like, every time I want to look up, that's what I want to see. It was the coolest thing. As a sports guy, I'm not a big football guy, but I'm sure most sports people would appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. The passion, if nothing else, to pull that off. But it's funny you say he's got 3 fireplaces in his office. It's because he's from Wisconsin, and we hate being cold,
Oh, yeah. No.
I'm not from Wisconsin. My wife is. I'm from Ohio, but yeah, we don't get in ice water. And we have 3 fireplaces in case 2 clog up with squirrels or something.
Yeah.
He got to have a bonus one.
Yeah, he was a cool guy, man. I don't know why I brought him up.
GADZOOKS. That's what.
Yeah, but man. Oh no. He had to cut off his sons. He was like, look, I had enough of them. He said, the last thing I did for my son, he gave him millions of dollars. I mean, and me and him hit it off. We still talk. I had one company that he thought about investing in. He was going to invest in that roll-off thing with me, the environmental thing. He's an investor now. But he told me one time, he's like, man, if I could trade you for one of my sons,
Oh,
You see, because me and him were on the same. I'm not on his level by no means, but he respected what I did with my career. Because I talked to him after the concrete company. We've all stayed together. I'll tell you here. Okay, let me tell you this, and this is just gonna kick everybody in the nuts. And so he finally got tired of bailing his sons out of just the money. He said, "Look, I'm going to buy you a house in University Park so you can live your little. I'm going to pay cash for it. That way you don't. You just got to pay the taxes, the electricity, what it takes to keep that thing going."
Insurance, utilities,
yeah.
taxes.
After this, I'm done. I'm paying for the
no
house
payment.
Yeah,
you're on your own.
You're on your own. Pay your vehicles off. That way, you can figure your shit out.
You're starting from scratch. Anybody can handle this.
Who wouldn't want to start out scratch in University Park, paid for all that shit?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you know? Right before they closed on the house, the wife had some tree brought in. That was like a $500,000 tree. She was like, "Well, we need a staple in our front yard," and she got some tree transplanted from God knows where. I don't even know. It was fucking $500,000 tree.
California redwood, 300 feet tall.
We're moving towards the California on this subject, okay? So, he was like, when you're getting something for free, who fucking does that? You know what I mean? Like, what are you thinking, man? I mean, how out of touch do you have to be? Unthankful do you have to be? Already spending a couple million or 2 or 3 or 4 million on this whole thing, and I'm done. Anyway, he ended up cutting him off. He was like, "I'm done."
It's not like you can pawn the tree if you need money back.
They didn't even make it 18 months and had to sell the house.
I believe it.
I don't know where he's at today, but I bet you he's not far from bottom.
Man, that's crazy.
That's fucking nuts, isn't it? Okay, so here. This guy is California Bud. He is the California marijuana business. He's partners with Tommy Chong. Dude, he's buying all the high-rise buildings. Well, this was back when the marijuana thing first started going. He jumped head. He said, "I've been waiting for this for 25 fucking years." And as soon as it happened, he bought up he bought all the licenses. And as people went broke, he bought all them and all their licenses. So he owns the majority of the licenses in California. They're buying high-rise buildings to grow their pot. This is why I got in the coffee business. This is why I got in the coffee business. I'm telling you, this was the birth. I was like, whoa, okay? So I'm at his house. He calls me and he's like, "Man, I got one of my fireplace. It's in my bedroom. Would you please? I know you don't do it anymore, but yeah." And I'll do that for, especially somebody like him, especially if it's just a thermocouple or something I got to replace, right? So I went over there and we're talking, and this is how we got, so what, we sat at his table from 9 o'clock in the morning, and I think it was 6:30 by the time I left in the evening. That's how long we talked. Just, what are you doing? Where you been? Business, this, blah, 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 blah. I said, "Well, what are you doing?" He said, "Man," he goes, "Let me show you a picture." His buds that he grows are the size of my arm. I was like, "Well, what the hell are you growing those things in?" He said, "The secret's out." He said, "We stole it from other people anyway." He said, "But I hired the best engineers and all these people from all over the world, Amsterdam, blah, 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 blah." Do you know what the main soil component is that they grow their pot in? But they're buying high-rise buildings to where
Don't tell me coffee grounds.
Coffee grounds and egg shells.
Okay, I've heard of that for composting or whatever. Coffee grounds and eggshells in your tomato plants and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. That's what he told me. He said, I'll buy every coffee ground you got on a consistent basis. He said, you need to go in the coffee. That's what he told me. He said, you need to go in the coffee business because we'll buy all your ground. You'll make just as much on your grounds as you will off your beans. You're going to throw it away anyway. That's what got that wheel turning. That's why I did the marijuana show. You know, because they want to infuse it and do all this stuff. But no, his buds are this big and this big around. And he's got building after building after building after building after building. I mean, he's got, I don't know how many buildings he's got now, but back then he had at least 20, 25. It could be 50 floors. And every floor was growing.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that concept. I mean, you think of a greenhouse being, you know, just a glass greenhouse horizontally, not vertically.
No, they black out all the windows. They black it all out, bring all those lights in, and it's just row after row after row after row after row.
Doesn't it get hotter than hell in there with them grow lights?
Shit, they put all sorts of ventilation in there, and now they know what the hell they're doing, man. And he's got the money to do it. He's invested in several companies that have done very well too. He's sharp cookie man.
Yeah, but like if it's an existing building, it's designed for offices. You know,
doesn't matter. They gut it. They gut it.
I was going to say you got a heat load and all of that is dialed in, so you'd have to come over. Well, what you could do is leave what's there and then add something.
It didn't matter what it needed. They put it in.
Jeez.
Every floor had it growing, and he has. I mean, he's got professional security because think about it. It's an all cash business, and every one of those locations, you know, had a dispensary at the bottom. You know, retail.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, so they had armed guards the whole time. Oh, he showed me videos and pictures and all that. I would never dare to show his operation to anybody else, but I mean, it was impressive. Impressive. I mean, this guy's he's old now. He's in his shit. He's probably in his mid-70s, late 70s. He might be he's in his late 70s.
So his kids were what, in their 40s or something when he cut them off?
My age. That's what I'm saying. He was like, dude.
Yeah, if you know, I could see somebody not having their shit together, 2025, with all that kind of money doing stupid shit. You're 35 or 40 and you're just making rookie mistakes. That you ain't making good decisions. It's hard.
Well, no, they thought they had the unlimited
honey hole.
Yeah. And he just got tired of it. Eventually you get tired of it. And
yeah, it's not like they lost money, on a bad business deal that, they rolled the dice or something.
And he started several companies for them.
They just pissed it away.
Both of them. He started companies for both of them. Tried to set them up in life, especially when he made all his big, his big bread. He set them up. And they fucked it up. Most men move.
Yeah, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. And
no.
You might want to say thank you and put a little effort out.
Hell, I've been washing his ass. Spend $5 million on my house and just tell me all I got to do is maintain. What do you need done at your house? God, man, what the hell is that? But there's a lot of people out there, like even in that realm of reality, that circle. That's what I'm saying. When we go to Vegas and do these think tanks and all these think tanks and masterminds and how these family companies, how they, some of them are just in the Lucky Sperm Club. They just got lucky because they were born into that family. And the mom's over there going, well, she is your sister.
justifying.
Yeah,
stupidity.
she's your sister. We can't leave her out in the cold. Fuck her. Tell her to go to work.
Yeah.
I heard stories like that all the time, but the surprising part was how many people, and that's what he told me is he was like, look, it doesn't matter if you're in the $1 million to $10 million bracket or you're in the $1 billion bracket. He said it's all the same. It's all relevant. That's the whole point. Is that some people just they don't change. They don't know how to change.
Yeah, you're wired how you're wired is kind of the way that's the saying I kind of use when somebody's just how they are. That's how they are. That's how they're wired. You know, they're gonna react that way, morning, noon, and night. You know,
but it's the ego, is what I don't understand. They're driving that ego, and they probably got the dick the size of a peanut. You know what I mean? It's so. I used to see so, and I didn't mean to use that phrase. I've used that phrase so many times, but it's the analogy of a guy that just thinks he is the total shit, and he is the biggest douchebag. You know what I mean? Like he couldn't buy a girl if he had to. They're that stupid, and they just don't. They're just mush. They have no personality. And it's sad. They got all this money, and they think that I just buy.
The world owes them something on top of it. You got to be humble, man. You just got to be humble when it comes to these matters. That don't try to be more than you are, or put on some show that
because nobody gives a damn.
Pretty much, and it makes you look like a fool when you screw it up.
Or that you got so many leeches. People look for people like you.
Well, it'd be like go to the golf course, and guys on the driving range, I'm going to shoot 60 today, and I'm going to make 9 birdies, and I'm going to drive every par 4, and then you get out there, the guy hits a water ball on the first tee box, It's like, this guy even know how to play golf, He's talking a big game over there on the driving range. Well, maybe have a little game to back up your frickin' mouth, Or wouldn't it be better to go, I hope I played good today, and then go make 9 birdies? That's way better than I'm going to make 9 birdies, and then you shoot 45 on the front. Like, man, this guy ain't made 9 birdies all summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, be a little humble when it comes to these matters. There's some advice to most men out there.
My ex-brother-in-law was like that. Not my wife's brother, but my ex-wife's little sister, her husband.
All right.
He's a car dealer. And he could run $100 million a year, and if they make 1%, they think that's good.
It's an awful thin margin. No margin for error.
No. But he'll brag about that money all day long.
100 million.
100 million.
Gross to 100 million.
Yeah, 100 million a year. And we got to talking one day, and it wasn't, I wasn't competitive with him, but he was competitive with me because I was always, he worked for a car dealership whenever we all were getting married. He worked for the Autobahn. So he was making decent money working there. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he was working at some Chevy dealership. So he was doing all right. 6 figures anyway. But he was always like, man, I want to get my own dealership. I want to do this, that, and the other. I was like, yeah, that's a big step. That's big. And he ended up, I don't even want to get into that, but he just, when you sat next to him, you felt like you were sitting next to Sleaze. It's like, dude, could you get over there? You sit on that side of the table. I don't want to shake your hand. You know what I mean? Like, an old captain that I used to fish with, that was one of his sayings. He said, man, you must have shaken hands with those so-and-so over there. You got the bad luck, You don't shake hands with them motherfuckers over there.
You get what you deserve after that.
Yeah, you don't even shake his hand. You must have shaken hands with old Kyle over there, The old guy that's always trying to skim you out of something.
I could see that being an old go-to line by somebody like that.
Yeah.
Old cagey veteran.
Yeah. He's an old Marine. This guy was tough. Captain Kirk. That was his name, Kirk.
That's funny.
Captain Kirk. Oh, I've got some stories about that guy.
What was the name of his boat?
Quickway.
Yeah, I just
because he owned
the Enterprise. I'd have shit my pants.
He owned a little mini those little convenience stores, but they were his. It was KWICK. Quickway.
Oh yeah.
But his were down south, and
all you gotta do is sell beer and tobacco, and make a lot of money.
And fried chicken. You couldn't carry your bag of fried chicken out because the grease was so thick, or so you had to hold the bag, or your chicken would fall out of the bag. It was funny as shit. Oh God, Captain Kirk is in like my dad category. I mean, there's. We're not even going there.
We'll do a whole podcast on fishing and Port O'Connor and all that. That's a solid hour.
This guy almost killed me so many times. I've never came close to death so many times with him, and he would look at me like, "What's wrong with you? What are you stressing about?" I'm like, the fucking boat's sinking.
He probably took a cold shower that morning, so nothing was going to bother him.
No, I imagined him dying in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, out in the middle of nowhere, 60 miles out in the middle of the Gulf. His boat's sinking, and all his charter crew going, "We're going to die because you didn't check that? That didn't bother you?" And he'd just be like, "All right, well, I'll see y'all later." Jump in, backstroke, shooting water spouts. "See y'all later. We're all dying anyway. May as enjoy it." And he'd have a bottle of whiskey in his hand, too. I fucking die drunk.
Sounds like he lived life on his terms.
He did. The guy that I was telling you about, that he told me that one time you must have shaken hands with him. He used to, every morning before his charter, because Kirk, he had a barbecue restaurant, too. And he liked to drink in the morning. He wasn't an afternoon guy because he had to get up and flip his briskets at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. So he drank in the morning. So and he dipped cherry skull. And I don't want to. What was I talking about before we started doing this? Because I don't want to lose track of what we were.
The brother-in-law with the auto.
Yes. Okay. But anyway, just real quick, Kirk would chug a fifth of either tequila, vodka, Jack, whatever. But this guy that he didn't like, he would drive by his house every morning. Every morning he'd throw his empty bottle in his driveway and bust it. That way when he had to go, that way when he would still go to his newspaper, he had to pick up all the glass. Every morning. We'd be going out in the morning, and because he was drunk, he didn't want anybody to smell the alcohol. He'd drink a fifth plus a 12-pack of Modelo or Corona, or he had a 5-gallon bucket with an ice, a 12-pack of beer. And that's, let's go fishing. But we'd be going out, and the wind's blowing from the south, so he's got this. His dip would be so big that we all out here, and you could see it looked like an ant bed in there. And he had a hole. He had a hole at the top of his teeth, these teeth at the bottom, to where he could, spit that shit.
Oh my God!
And the wind would be blowing at whoever's standing on this side, man. They thought it was water hitting them in the face, and it's snuff juice. They're like, "I thought you said this was a dry boat."
Jeez, oh man.
He said, "They think it's rain." They don't even know if they think it's rain, water. All right, so back to my brother-in-law. Brother-in-law, yeah, just always just trying to beat me. And I was like, dude, I'm not even competing with you. Like, I could care less about competing with you. I'm doing me. Just, you do you. I'm doing me. I'm not in a competition with anybody here. I'm in a competition with myself. That's who I'm in a competition with. I don't care what you think about me. I don't care what your sister or anybody in your family thinks about me. I care what I think about me.
Yeah, I've had interactions with people like that.
Yeah.
One guy in particular who I won't mention, but, you know, you think that, you think this. It's like I didn't say anything about anything. You think that's a nice truck. I didn't say anything about it. It's
Who
just
gives a damn what kind of truck it is? It gets me from A to B.
I mean, just that mentality, man. It's like competitive for the sake of being competitive.
Well, for him, he was finally catching up to me. He was letting me know that I'm finally, I'm finally making money now, getting on your level, and I'm letting you know, just letting you know. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, and even if you make more than me, fine. I don't give a damn. It is what it is.
Yeah, good. Hope you do. That way, if the family comes sniffing for money, maybe they can talk to you.
Yeah, I'm tired of footing the fucking bill. They need to start coming to somebody else. Yeah, make all you want. And he was that type of guy. I'll pay. And I'm like, go for it. I got this one. Beat you to it, Mark. Good. Because you still got 185 to go. Get caught up.
I don't know why people are like that.
It's crazy. And everybody looked at him as the fool. They were like, God, that guy's so stupid. His wife used to say it. He's so insecure. He's so... Because there was one night, we were in California, and we're at a bar. And they always used to make fun of me of bringing my own ice chest. I had, back when they had the handle with the wheels on them. I'm not buying beer everywhere we go. I'm taking my beer with me.
This is Texas. This is how we do it here. And you got ice on it because I ain't drinking warm beer either.
Yeah. So
and ice and beer is heavy. So
he said, I'm drinking with you tonight. I was like, good. Let's go drinking. I got this guy so hammered. Because he was like, I want to go shot for shot with you tonight. I was like, dude, I don't want to get that drunk tonight. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not setting out to get hammered here. Setting out to get a good buzz, have a good time. Like,
when you're out in public, right?
Yeah, we're at a freaking nice hotel, and I was like, let's just go to the bar, have some fun, get away from the women, and just chill. Maybe you could just become normal. Let's see if we can just get you normal. Tired of you walking around here with a stick up your ass all the time. You just need to be normal. Just come on. We're being such a wimp. You know what I mean? Like, just be a man. Act like a man. He's this most man. Anyway, so we get down there. He's like, let's do shots. He's like, you're a tequila drinker. Let's do Patron. I'm like, okay. We did a couple of shots, and he was like, I want another one. I want to go shot for shot with you tonight. And I was like, well, if that's what you want to do, I've only got another couple in me because that's, again, I like to drink, but I don't like to get so drunk to where you can't get up. I don't like being hungover. You know what I mean?
Who does?
Yeah. I mean, it's got the time and place where you need to do it and have fun and all that. But I don't want to wake up with a freaking hangover. I want to wake up going, well, I might have had a few too many last night, but go at the gym, hit the pool, hit the whatever, and just get it out of my system.
Some breakfast and break a sweat.
Yeah,
and
get the
I
blood
can
flowing.
Have a productive rest of the day.
Yeah. So I started, and I was like, he's like, but if I go shot to shot with you, you're buying. I said, okay. And I kept going up there. Every time he wanted a shot, got a shot. And I said, put water in mine. I don't want another shot. Done. I'm at my limit. Just give me a beer. Just put water in mine. He crawled back to his room. And his wife was so mad at me the next morning. Because she told me that night, she said, Mark, I don't want him going drinking with you because he's such a follower. You know what I mean? He has this persona that he does.
He wasn't following this night. He was leading. We're doing shots.
But what I'm saying is that he wants to impress people, and he doesn't. He's got a personality he's just not comfortable in his own skin. He wants to be. Because I was the guy that got to do whatever the hell I wanted to do on vacations. You know, there were the ones that got, you're staying in the room tonight. You're not doing anything. Staying in the room with me. We're watching a movie or whatever, and I'd be doing whatever the hell I want. But the next day, I just felt so sorry for him. I was like, man. And I pulled him aside, and I was like, look, dude. If you think that was cool last night, that's not cool. You need to change your program, man, because that's not cool. You looked really, and I'm telling you because somebody needs to tell you. You looked stupid last night, and look at you. You crawled into your room. You're married. You're freshly married. I mean, dude.
She finally let you out of her sight and you do this.
Yeah, man. Come on, man.
You get mad because you can't do what you want to do, and you just prove that you don't deserve to do what you do.
Yeah, but it wasn't that he was an alcoholic. He wasn't. He wasn't that guy.
No, but he just decided to bow up that night, and it was just not the time or place.
Yeah, but it's like. But he was like that with me all the time, and I was just like, dude, I don't care. I don't care what you do. I don't care how much money you make. I don't. But at the end of the day, pound for pound, we were stomping his ass in the concrete business. Two stupid people that don't have, I don't even have a high school diploma. He's got a freaking MBA from TCU.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Yeah. Most man. Go ahead, you can hit it. This is a perfect example of a most man move. He before they even got married, he paid off $90,000 worth of her student debt at TCU. That's what it took to get. That's what she said. I'll marry you if you'll pay off my student debt.
A reverse dowry over there. Wow.
Wow is right.
I guess it's one thing if you have the money, if you're a multi-millionaire or something.
He had the money. He had the money. His he Polish. His family had that immigrant mentality. His parents did. They came over here as immigrants from Poland, got in the hotel business. So he grew up in a hotel his whole life. So all the money that he made, he got to save. And his dad was a smart guy. Smart guy, made a lot of money. And he was a smart guy. He was a smart.
But his flaw was more on the personality side than on the business side. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Well, he was a numbers guy.
The bean counter?
The bean counter, yeah. He was a numbers guy. His dad had a great personality. That was a great guy. But, and I see where he got his personality, his inferiority came from his dad was just, he was tall, good looking, good shape.
Dominant kind of guy.
Oh, yeah. Smoke your ass on the golf course. I mean, funny.
The man's man.
The
Renaissance man, like we talked about one time.
He was a man's man. He was cool to hang out with. So I told him, dude, you can stay at the house. I'll hang out with your dad any day of the week. His dad was cool.
Yeah, we're having a family get-together. First question, is your dad coming?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get the dad over here.
You stay home. Tell your dad to come over.
If only one of you can come, I'm voting.
Yeah, I got Labatt Blue for him.
I got a story for you with the this wasn't really a doing shot story, but the first time I met my brother-in-law, my wife's brother, Ralph, up in Hurley, Wisconsin. So we go up there, and I was probably 28 or 9, 27 or 8. We're the same age, you know, and so we're in this bar, and one of his old hangouts, and he wasn't living there at the time. He just happened to be back in town. I guess it was some high school reunion or something. That's why we were up there. He was a very successful college grad, had a nice job. So anyway, so you're my sister's boyfriend, huh? Yeah. And we were drinking. He had drinking pitchers, which I hate drinking pitchers. You know,
I hate draft beer.
Oh, absolutely, I hate it. But so we got these pitchers going, you know, and I'm drinking with him, and of course he's finishing his beer a little bit before me, and come on, finish up, you know, after just finishing up, and I could see what he was trying to do, you know, and I could drink a lot of beer, still can drink a lot of beer, but I could tell, you know, he was loaded for beer. He was ready to go, you know, and so I don't drink whiskey anymore, booze anymore. But at that time I kind of didn't either, because I had my booze drinking days in my younger 20s, you know. I go, oh, we got to do some shots, you know, and so I played the shot card on him because I was getting way too drunk. And I mean, if I kept going toe to toe, it wasn't going to be good, man. And so I more or less called an airstrike on myself. So we did, yeah, I'll do a shot because he had to after the way he was shooting his mouth off about, you know, the beer, drink your beer, finish your beer. What, you don't drink beer in Texas? You know, I thought Texans drank beer, but, you know, I mean, he was ribbing me hard, you know. So we broke the shots out, I think 2, maybe 3, and he wound up going out in front. I think he puked in the street out in front of the bar, you know, and that's how I got the hell out of that. But I called an airstrike on myself. And that's part of my philosophy too, is if you're doing something and it's not working, do something different. No matter what it is sometimes. I mean, like life or death or something. You're in a burning building and you can't get the door open. I mean, hell, jump out the window. Even if you're on the 80th floor, you got a better chance of just burning to death at the door.
Who would want to burn to death over?
Just do something. I mean, just if what you're doing ain't working, try something different.
Yeah. Well, Chris ended up, I think he pissed the bed. Not that I don't think. I know that he pissed the bed that night.
Well, I'm sure that really thrilled her.
Woo! How would you like to be woken up in a pool of piss?
I'd rather just piss on myself than have my wife call me out for having pissed. I guess I could live through pissing on myself if nobody knew it. But if everybody knows it, that ain't good.
Especially on family vacation, man. You're just now getting in the family.
Yeah. There's better things to do than that.
Oh, God.
Shit in the bed would have been worse, but not much worse.
I pissed myself a couple of times.
It happens.
In Saudi Arabia, that's because we made our. It was what we. We're not getting down that bootlegging story, but we made our own alcohol over there. Beer, wine, and liquor, and it was like moonshine, but basically we called it Siddiqui. But it was like moonshine, and then we would soak it. You know, oak chips make rum. Juniper berries make gin. Oak does cognac too. And then we would get the Jack Daniels wood smoking chips, like the barbecue chips, and we would soak that to make our own version of Jack. But we made all of our own alcohol over there, and that shit was strong, man. Strong. When I came back to Texas, dude, I could drink a 12-pack like it was.
Oh yeah, you get your immunity up, and you know you get used to it.
Well, I was about to say what you were talking about drinking with your buddy up, and man, we just think we have an alcohol problem here in the United States. You go those Europeans over there, man. They'll mop the floor with us drinking, and their alcohol is stronger.
Oh yeah, like the Irish over there.
Not just I played rugby while I was over there. I'm talking people from New Zealand, Scotland, from
Australia. They love their booze.
Well, but just any of those rugby countries, but it's just the amount of alcohol that they consume is paramount compared to what we consume here. I thought I had an alcohol problem when I went over there. I learned real quick. I was just earning my wings. Yeah, it was crazy, man. And it was so strong. And I remember when I came back, I was like, man, I can't get drunk. I just can't. I can get a decent buzz, but I can't get drunk.
Yeah.
It slowly started leveling down. Came back to reality, but thank God. But I remember telling my mom over there, I was like, man, if you thought I had an alcohol problem, you just need to come to one of my rugby parties. That's how I met the rugby club. So I ran a I'll tell this story, and then I'll tell the other story at another date. Is I ended up making all my money over in Saudi Arabia bootlegging alcohol. I made a fuck ton for my age, anyway, and working for one of the richest princes in Saudi Arabia. It was an epic. Turning 21 there, thinking that I was going over there to dry up and not drink. I've got an epic story on that, but so I was the marketing manager and the recreation manager for a compound, which over there compounds are like basically where all the Westerners stay. We had like 440 villas. We were on an 18-hole golf course. We had a rugby pitch. We had a softball. We had 2 softball fields, English horse riding lessons, a Greek amphitheater where they used to throw concerts and all this stuff. We had roller hockey, ice hockey, anything that a country club has to offer, which it's tennis, swimming, anything of what a country club. But that's what this was. It was a country club with all the top execs that were over there working. All the top people lived on this compound. So my job was to make sure that all those features were making money. Okay, like we used to throw golf tournaments once a month, and Coca-Cola, the president of Coca-Cola Saudi Arabia, lived in our compound. So Coca-Cola would sponsor our golf tournaments. And I'm not saying we're not having pro tournaments. We're just having, it's a fun tournament within the community, right? But we did them up right. I mean, we had a pro golfer that did, golf training and all that.
Oh, yeah, I guaranteed it. Them guys over there had some game,
Oh, yeah, no, they were fun, man. They were, well, not just Coca-Cola, FedEx. We had FedEx sponsor them. We had Almarai, which is like our Borden milk here, like how big Borden is. Then Raytheon was one of our sponsors. There was a couple more, and people would know who they're. Boeing. So, where was I going with this? Okay. So, oh, god dang. What was my? Don't let me lose my point.
It was Coca-Cola sponsoring. Making their own booze.
Okay, no. My job was to how I met the
Making
rugby
money.
and how I met the rugby club. So the rugby club was there to look at our rugby pitch, which that's what the rugby field's called, is the rugby pitch. But we had 4 bars that were fully operational bars, but it was just operational on our alcohol that we made homemade within the compound. I had like 18 people that worked for me that did nothing but make alcohol. That was their job. And so they rented out our 19th hole, which our 19th hole was a bar that was underground. And when you were in there, the biggest side of the bar was a big chunk of plexiglass that looked into our swimming pool. So you would see people swimming and swimming up to the to the pool bar and all that kind of stuff. So I get a call at like 2:30 in the morning, and I had no clue because it went through food and beverage, which me and her, I hated this bitch, and she hated me too because she always tried to pawn everything off on me, and I'm like, look, you're over food and beverage. I am over the marketing. I'm not setting up your whole food and do your job. I know you don't want to, but I'm not doing it. You do your job. So, They leased out and allowed the rugby club to take over our 19th hole as celebration of looking for their new rugby facility. Okay? So I get a call from security. They're like, Mark, man, we got a freaking rowdy-ass crowd down in the 19th hole. I was like, well, who the hell let them in? And they were like, Linda. And I'm like, well, I said, are they drinking? They were like, yes. And they're begging for more. They're out of alcohol. They don't have any more alcohol. They're out. That's what they're bitching about. They want more alcohol. They want to keep going. So I drive down there and I walk in, and I'm back then, I'm 21 years old, jacked, stocky, like me, and I'm built just like my dad. I walk in and they're like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, hey, man, who the fuck are y'all and what the fuck are y'all doing here? And y'all need to pack your shit and get out. I mean, they're basically hanging from the ceiling fans. I mean, they're having a wild-ass party in there. And I'm like, they're like, no. And man, they're grabbing my traps and my biceps and poking me in the chest. And, he'd make a great left prop or a right prop, which that is the front line that when you go down to fucking bang heads, that's the section that they were talking. He'd make a great right prop, and right and left prop is the props on the left and the right props on the right. You're on the end, but it doesn't matter. You still got another man coming in to crush your collarbone, or you're gonna go head to head if you don't hit it right. And I'm like, dude, get your hands up. And they're like, no, you need to come to our next practice. What's your name? Where? Of course, then I start talking. They're like, where the hell are you from? And I'm like, dude, I'm from Texas. They're like, oh, you're from the States. And I was like, no. I'm from Texas. We don't say we're from the United States. When you're from Texas, you're from Texas. And they were like,
we like this.
Yeah. And the coach walked up to me and he said, Tex, can you get us some more alcohol? And I was like, fuck. Because I'm working for Prince Waleed bin Talal. He is one of the top richest people in the world. Okay.
Yeah, they're in Saudi Arabia. It isn't like they're just going to go, let's just go to the... I mean, you can't drink.
No, they fucking chop your head off. There is no collect go.
Yeah, you might want to tell people that. I'm sure.
But when you're inside when you're inside the walls, it's not that you can do anything you want, because they pay off the Matawas, which the Matawas are the religious police. Okay, they don't go by any law but what
they make the law.
They go off of Allah's law. Okay, so they don't need a judge, they don't need a jury, they don't need anybody. They can say, fucking shoot him in the head.
He had alcohol. It's in his trunk. Case closed.
Yeah. So I call, oh God, what was his name? Anyway, he was a Filipino guy, and he was over our alcohol. It's a hard name to remember, but at any rate, let's just call him Larry. Okay. I call him and I'm like, hey man, these guys are out of control. I said, I just need a little bit of alcohol to buy some time to see if I can get them, out of here.
To wind them down.
Yeah, just enough to make them happy.
Yeah, we can't have them go cold turkey. They're going to go nuts.
Yeah, they're going to fucking die, They're going to die of DTs, because they went through the whole bar. I mean, there was not one drop of alcohol left. So we bring in some Siddiqui, bring in some beer, bring in some wine. And we start, and they're like, come on, drink with us. And I'm like,
working.
All right. So I start drinking. I ended up drinking with them till like 7 a.m. The sun's up and people are waking up and we are still going. I got another shipment of alcohol in because I could call any shot that I wanted to call. Okay. So that's how I started playing rugby over there. And I did. I showed up to the next practice. We ended up breaking my collarbone playing.
Just like you knew you would.
Fuck, dude. Those guys over there are crazy, man. That's what I'm saying. We don't have an alcohol problem here. I don't understand how what we think alcoholics are here compared to what. Why aren't they dying? Why is their livers not giving out is what I want to understand. You see what I'm saying? Because it's that much. It's like it's north versus south here. Look at your old father-in-law. How much alcohol that dude could consume every day.
It did kill him, though. 74. You made it to 74.
I know, but 74 is a great life for how much he consumed.
Oh, it was unbelievable. 30 packs like they were nothing. When he died, we went to the liquor store. My brother-in-law that tried to drink me under the table that time, and he wanted to thank the guy that sold his father the booze the whole time, because Ralph didn't live around here.
So Ralph was his son.
Yeah.
That's who you're talking about. Okay, all right. Now
yeah, Ron's son. So
how'd that kid learn?
Yeah, so Ron, when Ralph was going through Ron's credit card statements, it was, I'll make up the number, but it'll be close. It was like 72.56. Just constant 72.56. And what it was like half gallon of VO, Canadian whiskey, and a 30 pack of Miller Lite. 72.56. He didn't buy a bag of ice. He didn't buy a candy bar. He didn't buy anything other than a 30 pack. And it depended, like, it was every other day. But like if he bought it on a Thursday, then he was back on a Friday because then it was the weekend. So you could always tell, because he had to have it dialed in, because if he got caught
Sunday,
if he got caught Sunday without anything, and then he always had like an emergency stash bottle under the house and in a 30 pack somewhere, just in case. We'd go out on the boat. We'd take I swear to God, we'd go out. I mean, this little lake, 100-acre lake.
Yeah.
We're not but 800 yards from the house at the furthest point away. You're 1,000 yards away, tops. And he's like, "You got enough beer?" "Yeah." "Are you sure?" "Yeah." "Oh, that ain't enough." And he'd go get more, but he wouldn't even ask me how many I had. That's what's so stupid about it. It's like I could have 30 and it would still, oh no. That's how I started drinking Miller Lite, because I was drinking Coors Light at the time, and he'd drink Miller Lite. So when we go out on the boat, it was if he didn't have enough milk, then he wouldn't want to even have a Coors Light. I mean, he would have in a pinch, but now it was just easier for me to just make it all Miller Lite and not have to worry about it. But we'd be going out for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and we'd have 15 beers with us. It's, we'd come back with 3 or 4, and he'd be stressed out, like, how close we came to running out of beer.
No, I'll never
crazy.
I'll never forget the time down in Port O'Connor when you brought him down there.
Yeah.
We got hammered the night before. Hammered. And we'll do.
Yeah, Ron needs a whole freaking hour session to explain that guy.
Well, no, I walked out. It's early in the morning. It's only like 8 or 9 o'clock, because I was always an early riser back then. And I walk out there, and he's walking around and I think he had a beer in his hand, but he goes, "Man."
He absolutely would have had a beer in his hand if he was upright.
Yeah, he did have a beer in his hand,
sure
but he was walking around, and I was like, "Hey, man, what's up?" And I don't know if you saw this or not, but this was the most classic. He goes, "I think I've got botulism." So he grabbed his bottle of VO and just was this, because we're getting ready to go to breakfast. Okay, I don't know if you were out there or not, But that's what he said. He looked at me and said, man, Mark, I just don't feel good this morning. He said, I think I got botulism. And he grabbed a bottle of VO and just started chugging this whiskey in the morning. I was like, whoa.
He's going to kill the freaking germs.
Yeah, I was like, dude, what are you doing? And what the fuck is botulism? You know, I mean, I know there's probably an infection, but
it's like food poisoning.
I was just like, dude, you think that's going to make it better?
He did. That's how he justified. Yeah, I'll kill that shit.
I was so in shock because it wasn't just a couple of shots. It was like probably 7 or 8 or 10.
The first thing
the bubbles were just going.
Yeah, the first thing he would do when he bought that bottle, when he opened it, was just get rid of that stupid plastic frickin' restrictor. You know how the booze bottles had that little plastic. He's like, what are you doing? No. This is keeping me between me and my booze, and this piece of plastic's got to go. Yeah, he should have saved those. He could have built like a freaking sculpture of freaking plastic booze throttlers.
Speaking of Canada, okay, I had a friend of mine. We were business partners at first, but his sister met this dude from Canada on the internet when online dating first started, right? Wayne Claremont. Yeah. Hey, Wayne Claremont, eh? My name's Wayne Claremont, eh? So we went to a hangout at the oldest sister's house one night, and Aaron's dad's name was Charlie, and he was a Jack drinker. And that's where I learned what Labatt Blue was. But this was the first time that I met him because I was close with the family. And he said, nice to meet you, Mark. I'm Wayne. I'm from Canada. And I said, I can tell. Eh?
Don't you know? That's more of a that's more of a Minnesota thing, but whatever. Yeah, they got their own way of saying shit.
Yeah, so he opened up a handle. It's not a gallon, but however much, a half gallon or whatever. It's a lot of whiskey. And
it's liter shit, but close enough to a half gallon.
Yeah, and he said, Mark, in Canada, we take the cap and we throw it away. We don't need as soon as he took the cap off, that meant that whole bottle was going to get drank. We just take the cap. Me and Charlie, we just take the cap and we throw it away. Throw it away. Throw it away. And I was like, you just throw it away? Eh?
Hey.
And he was like, yeah, we just take the cap, throw it away. We don't need the cap. We take this cap off. I was like, good God, dude. This guy would be so snot-slinging drunk. And I even hired him. We're not going down that road with him. Because the day I fired him, because I got so tired of him being in my face. He would sit in the middle of my truck, and I had another guy work for me, Jerry, this old guy that he was my salesman. But in the wintertime, when he couldn't go door to door or do sales and all that kind of stuff, he would ride with us so he could make money. And he would sit in the middle and just wear me out, wear Jerry out, wear me out, wear Jerry out. And he would look at Jerry going, hey, Jer. No, he wouldn't call him Jerry. He would call, hey, Jer. Hey, you know what I'm talking about, eh? And Jerry told me, he said, Mark, he said, I carry a 38 with me in my boot. And he said, I'm ready to shoot this motherfucker if I have to ride with this motherfucker one more day. He's the deadest Canadian that I've ever fucking met in my life, and I'm willing to go to jail because I'm sick of this motherfucker spitting in my face. And, hey, you know what Labatt Blue is, eh? That's the best beer ever, Canadian beer, eh? So the Super Bowl came around, and I can't even remember who the hell was playing. It doesn't matter. He wanted to have a Super Bowl party. That's how big of a Super Bowl and football fan he was.
The Canadian?
Yeah.
He liked American football?
Yeah. Yeah. And he wanted to have it at my house. We'll have it at your house, Mark. I'll bring the hot dogs. You get all the expensive shit. I'll bring all the trash. But I'll have Labatt Blue, I promise. If you don't know what Labatt Blue is, you're going to know what Labatt Blue is after this party. You're going to be a Labatt Blue drinker. You're going to throw that Miller Lite away, and you're going to drink Labatt Blue. I'm like, fuck, you're a Labatt Blue. You know? So, we're getting towards the Super Bowl. And I called my buddy, and I was like, fuck this guy. We scheduled him to come over. We were like, yeah, we'll all be here at 5 or 5:30, whatever. We'll start barbecuing, whatever. And we all left. We went to another Super Bowl party. We were like, man, fuck him. I don't want Super Bowl. I'm not even a big football fan, but I was like, I don't want my Super Bowl Sunday ruined by this fucking guy.
So you just
ghosted
him in the highest order.
Yeah. He bought the hot dogs.
It's one thing to ghost him and just call him at the end and say, "Nah, don't come." You thought to just leave and let him bang on the fucking door.
Because he couldn't afford Labatt Blue, all the Labatt Blue that he was bringing, and the hot dogs and the buns and the condiments and all the stuff that he needed to complete his hot dog journey. He wanted me to buy everything, but he was going to bring the hot dogs and the Labatt Blue. And nobody gave a shit how much Labatt Blue he bought. We were all fine ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So finally, he came in Monday. He was a big dude, and he said, "You know how much I spent on Labatt Blue?" I said, "I don't give a fuck how much you spent on Labatt Blue."
Well, it's not like it's going to go bad or anything. I mean, shit, it ain't like, it's going to rot.
Well, no, I told us I don't give a fuck how much you spent on Labatt Blue, and I didn't give a shit about having you at my house. You work for me, okay? I don't have to do your deal. He's like, "That's the rudest thing that ever happened." And he started like mouthing, like getting like, like we were gonna get physical. And I was like, "Okay, you want to throw some shit around?" Like he threw one of my ladders out of my truck, and I was like, "Okay, you want to start throwing some shit around? Let me show you how to throw shit around." And I started throwing shit around. I was like, let me show you, if you want to throw one of my ladders, let me show you how to throw it. And he was like, hey, and I was like, hey, touch one more of my things, and if you sling one more of my things, I'm gonna sling this thing right in your fucking nose. I'm from Texas. We don't put up with this bullshit. Get the fuck off my property. But he called my buddy here, and he goes, "Let me tell you something, eh? That Mark, he's fucking crazy, eh? I thought he was going to fucking kill me, eh?" And I was like, well, and Aaron was like, well, this isn't Canada, dude. It's not that we're not welcoming you here. You just need to calm down. But it was so overbearing that it was, "Hey, Jer, Mark,
Did your buddy say, "Well, I thought about shooting you a few times myself"? Was that to do with the gun in the sock?
Jerry did tell him. He was like, "Look, if you don't give me my space," he's like, "Look, I'm telling you right now, I don't like you in my face. I don't like you in my ear. And I don't like you talking all day long." Me and Mark have been working together for a solid 6 years. We've got this routine down. And I respected Jerry so much because he made me so much money when he had time to go door to door. That's how I started the business. And I respected him so much that I let him make free money during the winter. That's when the money was just, rolling. We were rolling, man. I didn't give a shit if he rolled around the truck with me all day. And he didn't even have to do shit. He just rode with me.
Yeah, it's a whole year thing, sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield.
Yeah.
If the guy makes you good money.
Well, all the customers that we're working for anyway, he's the one that got them.
So it's like residual, you know.
Yeah, no, you just sit back and you watch me do all the work, or me and whoever I've got help wise. You just sit back and watch us do the work and enjoy your winter, and you get your cheddar, your commission, because you got 25% of every job for the profit.
Let me tell you this Canadian deal you're talking about. They throw the cap away. So I went to the Bristol, Tennessee race the first time I ever did, and there was a bunch of Canadians down there from they worked for Electrolux vacuum cleaners based in Bristol, Virginia, which is the city of Bristol, Virginia is split in half with the city of Bristol, Tennessee. The state line is right down the middle of the city. And there's sales tax on one side, not sales tax on the other. So anybody who's going to buy something of any value, you bought it on the side of the street that didn't have sales tax. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's like buying beer in Texas and Oklahoma.
But so check this out. So all these Canadians come down in these two big campers, like motorhomes, and they're like these honchos of Electrolux vacuum cleaners. And I just met these, I'm first meeting these people for the first time, and they had Cuban cigars because they could get them in Canada, and they went nuts in Tennessee at the liquor store because in Canada, all your booze is taxed because of health care, just like cigarettes. Your booze and your cigarettes are taxed like whatever, 30, 40, 50% or some crazy number.
Right.
So these dudes are in the liquor store going, this is only $30 because it's like 60 or 80 in frickin' Canada. They're like, it was like, it was beautiful and crazy to see. It's not like you say we got it. You think Americans got alcohol problems? These dudes are getting half price booze. They're like, how are we going to get it across the border? Like, we'll figure it out later. Fucking buy it. Just everybody had handfuls of half gallons of everything. And trust me, they were putting big dents in that shit.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, that's whenever I sold out to the company that I sold out to. They're a Canadian outfit. And that was their whole point of coming to Texas was not just because Texas was Texas. Everything is concrete in Texas, and our market is it's better than any other market anywhere, right? But,
yeah, we're flat and growing, and concrete likes to go.
Yeah, we live horizontal. We don't live vertical. So, but where they make their money, I couldn't understand why they were paying me so much money. Yeah, because I'd had other talks with other companies that, they'll give you a 2 or 3 multiplier on your EBITDA or whatever.
And it seemed reasonable.
It was,
but then these people.
Well, I expected a 2 or 3 multiple on my EBITDA. You got to be in that range. We're not even fucking talking. So, but where they make their money is all the money that they make in Texas, and that's why they were so aggressive when they came here. That it's the exchange rate. That's where they make their money. Is every dollar that they earn here, they make 30 cents on the dollar as soon as it crosses the border. So they could sell concrete for $100 a yard here. And what's 30 cents on the dollar on 100? That's $30, right? Is it? I'm not. You're a math wizard in your head. I'm not a math wizard in my
There's
head.
a few different ways to figure it, but it's pretty close. It's in the upper 20s. It depends which way you're going on it. But
yeah, but I'm just not that's why I always go to you when I'm talking cents on the dollar. It's not, my brain just doesn't do math that fast. I'll use a calculator.
Yeah, but
Tim can spit out the decimals.
But the Canadian dollar, say it's
well, it depends on what
on a dollar. But the problem is that but everything costs more up there too. So
it doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter to them because what they make in Texas, whatever the exchange rate is. Now they could lose if it goes under, right?
But see, an exchange rate more or less on that the Canadian thing that's kind of a break even deal because like a pack of cigarettes up there will cost $5 went down here. Well, that's not a good one because of the tax shit. But something that would be $1 here would be $1.30 Canadian.
But that's my point, is that it doesn't matter. They're not producing the dollar in Canada. They're producing the dollar in Texas. They had their Texas division. So the dollars that were taken up there, if $1's $1 here, it was worth $1.30 up there. And that's why they were so aggressive when they came down here. And everybody was like, whoa, how can these guys come in here and spend all this money? And then on top of that, sell concrete at a discount. It's because they had that. That's what they were playing.
Yeah, there's more of that going on because.
Well, I don't know all of it, but I'm just saying I couldn't figure out. I was like, man, because I had other offers.
Well, see, when I was a kid, we'd go to Niagara Falls, and we'd always, the Canadian side, you didn't need a passport or nothing. You just you went over. They go, hey, what are you doing here? Well, my dad would be driving. Taking the family to see the falls. And then coming back, do you got any fireworks? See, fireworks were legal up there, so people would always be trying to smuggle fireworks. We never brought shit back, or smuggled booze or anything. It was just, no, we went to see the falls. We're coming back. But the Canadian dollar and the American dollar back in the 70s, early 70s, when we were doing this as a kid, it was like 90. It was close. It was close, like 92 cents. A Canadian dollar was like 92 cents. And then at some point it was like 80 cents. I have no idea what it is right now.
No, when I sold
down to 70.
No, when I sold our dollar versus their dollar, our dollar as soon as it crossed the Canadian line was worth $1.30.
Yeah,
but
I understand that, but here's the thing though. But things up there are priced in Canadian dollars.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter because you're not changing your buying power. You're just not changing your buying power.
But you're not understanding what I'm talking about. This is the Texas division. They had they were the biggest concrete, sand and gravel. They even had their own like Home Depot or Lowe's. They were huge up there. Their whole play in Texas and Colorado.
But up there, a 99-cent bag of sunflower seeds is $1.30.
It doesn't matter what that cost. It means what the money that they make on the money exchange, converting our money to their money. Doesn't matter what anything costs up there, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm.
This will be one for another day. We'll look into exchange rates and.
But I'm just telling you, because I talked to the CFO, I was like, man, because they were so intrigued with the CFO was really and I'm not saying I didn't break any barriers or anything like this. I just was not a high salary guy. I did not believe in taking a high salary. I believed in keeping the money in the company. If we needed to do a move and this, that, and the other, it didn't need to be going to my salary, is what I'm saying. I didn't reinvent any wheel. I didn't. But I was very good at cash flow. Very good. And we cash flowed very, very well. And the CFO was so blown away by it. And we had several, and they were trying to hire me. We had several conversations. He was like, I want you on our team. And I was like, well, I hear you, but I'm not a corporate guy. I'm just not. I'm just not meant. I'm not designed.
Yeah, I'm not selling this company to buy a job.
Yeah, But they asked me so many times, how did I do it? How did I do it? How did I do it? Because we're struggling. We're this huge company that we thought we had it all figured out, but you're roasting us on margins. Like you're gaining easily another 8 to 10% that we can't figure out how. We're losing it. So, but that was that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that what I'm saying is 100% correct. But their motivation to move into Texas, and because they're just as big in Colorado as they are in Texas. But their major motivation for moving to those two markets was that every dollar that they earn here, they make money when it goes back to Canada. Doesn't matter what their products and services cost over there. I'm not saying that it matters, but it really doesn't, because that's their bottom line. They're not worried about products and services. They're worried about what their Canadian dollar is spending coming into the U.S. versus what they're getting back. And I don't know how all that part works. But I thought it was interesting. I was like, wow. Because they came in and I was wondering why they were spending so much money. Just unheard of. Like when they bought me, stuff that we had proven that we had done this maintenance, putting new tires on. We're talking thousands of dollars per truck. brakes and tires. All the maintenance on those trucks. You're talking every 3 months. It's a $10,000 stop. And we had done all that and proven that we brand new tires. That we had to prove all that up. And the day they came in, they nixed every single thing of it and just spent like $500,000. Oh, you run Michelin's, we run Yokohama's. Take them off, throw them away. Insane. We don't use that brand of drill. We only use Ingersoll Rand. Bam. We just spent $15,000 on new drills, or impact, those big impacts. You did new brakes on this truck over here? No, rip them off. We do these pads and these drums. New.
Yeah, that's out of control. I could see the next time it needed something to swap it over.
No, it
not
was
the shit can what's there.
It drove me.
Yeah, that's why I can't go to work for you. You fuckers waste money.
And wonder why. Yeah, it was insane. And there was one time, I can't remember this kid's name. It was Ronald something. Just because they bought my company didn't mean they bought my mailbox. So all my bills were still coming to that mailbox. And he held all my mail. And I shut up and I said, "Hey, man, where's my mail?" He said, "You don't own it anymore. We own it." And this is some low-level dumbass. He said, "You ain't getting your mail unless I tell you get your mail."
You got to be kidding.
Oh, yeah? No, I'm not kidding you. Oh, and I did. I lost it.
He's like, you didn't punch him.
No, we got face to face.
That's
and
ridiculous.
I remember the president called me. He was like, "Man, thank you, and I'm sorry." I was like, "Dude, if this guy wasn't such a freaking dumbass, I'm not going to jail over a dumbass." But
how he even thought that was a good idea, or just
he said, you ain't getting your mail. Your mail is our mail now."
You should have said, "Well, then pay the fucking bill. See ya. You got the bill. You pay it."
I'm glad that all that stuff's over in my life. That's all I don't want another big company. I want this company to do very, very well. I want this company to do well. But I don't want any of that stress. I don't want to deal with that kind of people ever, ever again. Let somebody else with an ego and a chip on their shoulder and all that.
And tell the Most Man Club how not to get into that situation, to have to put up with that crap. And if you got a big company, here's how to minimize the beating.
Yeah, structure. You formulate your rules, regulations to eliminate the headaches of these idiots and assholes, because they're everywhere. And it's so easy to do, but you got to do it up front. You have to. And it pays so much in the end. It pays so much.
I always say, I don't care what the rules are. I just want to know what the rules are.
Yeah.
Because I can deal with about anything as long as, I know. Like if you're playing poker and there's 4 of each card, that's cool. But if I count 5 aces on the table at some point, imagine that. I'm going to call horse shit.
Yeah.
And never trust you again and yada, yada, yada. And that's one thing people screw up too, But like if you lie to somebody one time, you're a freaking liar. And that's just all there is to it. And most people will look at you as being a liar. And we're bragging about Texas and being from Texas, I'm not from Texas, but I live in Texas. The man's handshake is a bond and a deal. And, you start changing the rules and, I know what we agreed to, but, there's some new circumstances you may not know. It doesn't matter. I don't need to know what your new circumstances are. We agreed to something, and it's staying that way. But people try to change the deal, and, this, that, and the other. Nah, there ain't no this, that, and the other. Be a man of your word. Take care of business. And sometimes you got to take it in the teeth and ride it out. And, just don't make excuses, man. Just be a frickin' man and do what you say you're going to do.
And it pays off in so many ways.
Oh, it's beautiful insurance against future stupidity.
Yeah, and it's just like what we talked about in not the last podcast, a couple podcasts ago, is just being honest with the cops. I mean, you get so much more just by be fucking square. Okay? And that's where the big guys that get it and know it and are doing it, they understand it and they know if they know you're square, you're going to get the benefit of the doubt 9 times out of 10. Look, we both lost on this deal, but you're still getting paid. Because you were honest with me.
But if you're the only honest guy in a crooked poker game, your ass is grass. So you got to know who you're dealing with, too. And don't be afraid to take your ball and go home. It ain't take your ball and go home. It's take the ball and say, here's the ball. Shove it up your ass, paint it purple. I don't give a shit what you do with the ball, but I'm done playing with you. Adios.
Yeah, no,
I don't like the way you do business. I don't like the way you carry yourself.
No.
I don't like this, that, or the other. I'm out of here. No, and I don't care what you do.
That's right. No,
have fun.
Yeah, no, and my bullshit meter now is pegged. And as soon as I sniff bullshit, I'm out. I'm not wasting any more of my time, and I'm not allowing stress. Other people's ignorance and their bullshit, their corruption or whatever you want to call their bullshit. As soon as I sniff bullshit, I'm out. Yeah, it's not even happening.
Their problem does not need to become your problem.
No, that's
unless you get paid for it or willing to do it or charity or whatever you want to call it, but it needs to be on your terms.
Yeah.
You don't need to be forced into something because somebody else decided it was what you needed to do.
That's right. No, your emergency does not constitute an emergency on my part. Or however you want to.
That's an old classic. However
you want to dice it up and say it.
Your lack of planning does not constitute an emergency on my part.
Exactly.
And, many different ways of saying it.
Yeah, there's so many ways of saying it, but it just. I've been there, done it. Ain't happening no more, man. I'm 45 years old. I'm looking to build this company.
This brand, the Most Man brand.
Yeah.
And we want you part of it.
Yeah, building the brand.
Plenty of room. Plenty of room.
Building the brand, building the program, and I want to have fun along the way. I'm not in it for work anymore. I mean, when I say that, I'm not afraid to work. I'm a hard-working guy. But here's the thing. I'm not going out there and starting a company for a bunch of employees that don't give a shit. And I have to cover all the hard work to make up for your ass. It ain't happening no more. It's done. Done. Been there, done that. Made a lot of money. Lost a lot of money. But the thing is that here's the whole point, and we're getting ready to get out of here because, well, it's not because of anything. It's just it's time to go. But there's so many good people. That's I've met and worked with so many good people out there. This thing's not lost. It's not lost. It's just when you're young and you're ready to conquer that thing, if you're wanting to do it, you just need to know that there's a mountain of bullshit in front of it. And you got a lot of people out there looking to cut your throat, right? Cut your throat, take advantage of you, fuck you out of money.
And then try to explain why it's your fault and your problem.
Right, but here's the thing is that all that can be prevented. And I'm not saying that I'm gonna fix all your problems. Tim's not gonna fix your problems, but we're gonna have people within this company from all aspects that can help eliminate that problem. That's the whole point of Most Man on that end, is through think tanks, masterminds, through the membership, through all of that stuff. That's what I'm wanting to build. Is a community to where, and it's not just young people, because there's a lot of middle-aged people that are tired of the corporate life, and they're like, you know what, I'm going to step out and I'm going to do it. I've got a good book of business. I think I can do it. You know,
I'm considered an expert in
right,
something at my job.
But all of a sudden you step into the business world and you get your head cut off because you didn't think about. It's not what you didn't think about. It's just what you don't know. Is that going into business, you're jumping in with the sharks. I don't care what industry you're in. Every industry is full of sharks. Full of them. Waiting for the foolish one to make a mistake. And if you want to survive, you've got to pay the piper to get through that situation. And it couldn't even have been your fault. You just didn't know what you were walking into. So that is the core outside of the men's club is what is going to be built. That's what I'm looking for. So let's get out of here.
Subscribe,
Hang on,
please.
Yeah. So subscribe. Like, ring the bell. We need comments, please, because this gives us stuff to talk about. We want to know what you want to talk about. Just because, I mean, we're getting on here just bullshitting, but what do you want to talk about? Let's talk about what you want to talk about. That gives us content, or not content, but it gives us something to talk about, to where you feel engaged, and that's what it's about. I mean, the people that are just watching just to watch, because we're a couple of crazy goofballs that are just having fun.
Yeah, we're telling old stories from years ago. Sometimes you might have a current situation going on, and we'd love to talk about the current situation.
Let's address it. Let's get it fixed. But so that's what we're wanting to build, and I want everybody to be engaged, to where you're involved, not just us. Okay, so YouTube, please like, subscribe, ring the bell, like, share, comment. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartMedia, and themensclub.com. The men's, MEN, the men's club. Join themensclub.com. Info, themostmen.com. So that's where it's at. We're going to start leaving links below to to where all that's handled, to where we don't have to just keep regurgitating that over and over and over again. But I want to thank everybody so far that's supported, liked, and listened, and just it's we're just getting going. This is kind of a slow roll. It's going to take us 3 to 6 months to really get, really going. But that's the goal. Let's build some better men and some better businessmen. Let's have some fun.
And let's get some laughs while we do it.
No, let's have some fucking fun. All right.
Let's do it.
Thank you guys. Good night.